Welcome to another show, season 14, the middle ground with JLE, where we treat you like family. As is a running joke I do right now until I get my intro on here. I do it myself. And he changing up over there, all that privilege in Kansas City. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my intro.
Hi, Mom.
At least put the Chiefs on, so we all right.
Yeah. Well,
But here we go.
yes, sir.
313
Mm.
Detroit love the Motor City. Detroit love, can't nothing stop me. Detroit
Mm.
love, I love my city. Detroit love. That's the theme
Mm.
song, Detroit Love, off my first
Oh,
album, The JLE
oh,
Experience. I own the music and copyright. Don't mute nothing Facebook. Always got to say that. Got
yes,
another
sir.
great guest for you today. We have IT professional, mentor, entrepreneur, Legal Shield independent associate, and a Communicating is Confidence podcast host, Tyrone Gilbert. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to be on the show this evening, and I know the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come.
Hey, man. So, first question, what led you to this path?
To doing the which like the podcast or just life in general, because my life is um it's
All
funny.
of it up to the podcast. So that's like the main focal point.
It's funny you asked that because and one day I will write a book called "It's Fun to Be Me." It's fun. I can't be anybody else
There you go.
except Tyrone.
You might as well.
Yeah, I can't be anybody else. And growing up, uh, I mean, loving family, three boys raised by our grandmother, uh, and we called her, we called her Lena Horn. That's how pretty she was. And
Okay.
yeah, in the kitchen,
Awesome.
me and my next door's brother, and that's what the love came, and it just skyrocketed because she got me into it. Well, believe it or not, at an early age I was in the Boy Scouts, and
Okay.
it I mean, Boy Scouts, it taught me a lot of lessons, and it's wonderful because every Saturday morning she would always get, like, dress me a certain way with the tie and the shirt
Nice.
and the belt, the belt buckles, the silver, the
The old
silver
school.
belt buckle. Yeah, and the blue pants, and but it just uh, really uh, got me to thinking at an early age, and she helped to prepare uh, myself to the person I am today. Wherever we went with her, whether it's parade or restaurant, she always made sure that we were at our. I would say we would act accordingly, and whenever we're out in public, she
Mm-hmm.
made sure we acted respectfully, and we spoke correctly, uh, and just we just felt love. It was just love, the cooking, that
Mm-hmm.
that that she, like I said, I'm going back to the cooking, but she could cook. She cooked some tuna casserole. I would swim the ocean for right now. I would definitely swim the ocean. And the thing about it, I'm glad you asked that question, Jeffrey,
Mm-hmm.
because that was discipline for me. And then on to junior high school, she told me, she said, "Hey, you need to join the choir." It was something, I don't know what she saw, but she saw that in me. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, Jeffrey, I'm in vocal music class,
Okay.
and
Nice.
I believe it or not, I played the clarinet
Okay.
and the violin, and it taught me discipline. and it really taught me to focus and just to stay calm and relax. And like I said, she saw something in me like a lot of our parents do.
Mm-hmm.
And even though my mother and father wasn't together because they were, they were separated, but they had I would like to say they had a say in it as also, because even though they weren't together, but they were able to communicate to our grandmother into, hey, how this is what you need to do with them. We're not here right now, but this is what you can do uh, to help. You're already helping us out, but
Mm-hmm.
this is really helping us out, and we could do our, our bit of pieces as well. We can do the best we can here and there, and they worked it out, and that's the fun thing about it. It wasn't no like real confusion. It was just it was seeing, it was like a working art with when it comes to family. And yes, I play clarinet, violin.
Man.
Yeah, I loved it too, and it wasn't the most, you know. Well, we all know going to school, it's not really the most popular thing, but but but
Yeah.
but it gave me responsibility. I mean, cleaning the clarinet, the reef, the wood on the reef,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and to keep it shiny and polished, just like the Boy Scouts. What you wear, we kept everything polished. I mean, clean
Mm-hmm.
to the T, and the violin as well. And oh wow, yeah, you're really taking me back right now. But yeah, just the violin and
That's a lot of
seeing,
hand movement for the violin because I
yes,
got to
yes,
add up. Like, yeah, I'm like, I was in choir at Wayne State. I'm like, they
really,
just
really,
be holding it, waiting for their turn. Their hands ain't hurting.
right,
They
right,
some
right.
soldiers.
Right. And when you, and I forgot what you called it, but when you don't really clean that and you start to, it'll make that kind of that muffled sound. It's not a good sound. So with the violin, but like with every other instrument, you have to keep it tuned. You have
Yeah.
to you have to clean and make sure. And but the fun part about it, Jeffrey, was that you had a teacher there. We had a teacher when I went to Central, Mr. Edwards. He had long jerry curl, and the ladies loved him. Um, and but what I loved about him, Jeffrey, he was into his art. He loved music, and he made sure he taught at a level where you can understand. And that's what I appreciated about vocal music class and writing. As you know, I'm also a singer, and I play guitar. uh, and I enjoy it because it relaxes me, and I do a lot of writing as well. So, but yeah, growing up, that was the foundation. Now I'm going to mention this because I mean I was nerdy. I was nerdy, and
I never been a nerd. I'm a nerd too.
yes, and my grip, our parents, our parents, they bought us, the notebooks, the pencils, and everything. Every grade school, she would buy what I needed, what we always needed. But I remember one particular year, I
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even tell you the year. It might have been probably 78, 79. Maybe, yeah, I'll probably say 78, 79. But I never forget it, Jeffrey. She brought home a stack of school supplies. I'm like, all right, I'm
Okay.
ready. This is the Boy Scouts coming out in me. I'm ready. I'm ready to see,
Mm-hmm.
to smell and everything. And I picked up this one notebook, and it was I never forget it. It was you remember, the heavy metal rock group Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was the drummer Peter Criss on there with his long black hair and
Okay.
that's when he had and he was pictured with two Black Panthers. And I'm
Wow, that's
like,
dope.
yeah, and I'm like, what is this? What did my grandmother just give me? What did she just give me? And, and that's the question we all need to ask ourselves sometimes when we do get a, a gift that's out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting. I'm like, but when I look, and I love that notebook because I brought it to class and I just stared at it, and it's because the long hair, the makeup, and the
Mm-hmm.
chain, and somehow Jeffrey, I could relate to him with the Panthers, with the two Black
Okay.
Panthers, and but that's what really got me. My grandmother, who's, I mean, she in the let, let's say 40s, 50s.
Yeah, the old
Uh,
school
yeah,
conservative
I mean,
time period.
yeah, that's the jazz era.
Mm-hmm.
She's giving me a book with the heavy metal rock band, the drummer Peter Criss. It's and that's how it started with me as far as being a musician. My uncle,
Mm-hmm.
my mother's side, he
Okay.
had, but we all know he had like tons and tons of albums. The Motown, 70s, 80s, and then the hard rock. And I'm like, wow, what's going on with the hard rock? Because Motown's Motown and
Yeah.
R&B's R&B, but then the hard rock, I'm like, that's where you really start to investigate and to learn and you want to pursue who you are. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't ever be afraid to pursue who you are. And grandmother, she had a giant stack of jazz albums, and it really helped me to. Yes, I was the smallest person in high school, but it didn't stop me from wanting to get my education. That's what she taught us. Hey, make sure you get your education, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you have to go through. Make sure you get
Education
your
first.
education. Yes, so we're piggying back to Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts. Well, I'm sorry. First, grandmother's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
boys, yeah, we can't forget that. We better not forget
Nah.
that. You know, I'm not gonna forget that, Gramps. That's what we call it, Gramps. But grandma's cooking, Boy Scouts, clarinet, the violin on the high school, and listening to music, and just to grow up in the neighborhood called Holy Temple, where they say nothing was holy, but 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 in '77, my mother, when
Mm-hmm.
she was when she was able to take care of us, she moved us there, and there's one of the best neighborhoods, if not one of the best neighborhoods that was built at the time in Kansas City. So, but yes, thank you for that question. And like I said, that Kiss album that Peter Chris
Mm-hmm.
is yeah, that's it.
And a former guest, Dr. Geneva J. Williams, she said, "Hi, thanks for the conversation.
Thank you,
Appreciate you
thank you,
checking us out.
thank you, thank
That
you,
was a great
thank
guest."
you.
Now, all that seems to have led you to the next question.
Okay,
What is the Communicating is Confidence podcast?
thank you. Communicating is confidence with myself, along with my co-host Anthony Corbin and Renetta Pleasant. Well, we noticed there's a lack of communication in the world. It's been going on for thousands and thousands of years, Jeffrey, but
Hmm.
it's more prevalent now than ever. And that's not a good thing when you get up and let's just say one's not able to talk to their family member
Hmm.
or whatnot. No communication. It starts at home. And what the podcast does, we reach out to those who are successful in their field of expertise to come and join us as a guest as we navigate while we ask the question, how do you communicate with your business partners? How
Hmm.
do you communicate with your employees? And most importantly, the all-time high, how do you communicate with your family members? I believe we all could take 12 extra courses on that and probably 12 more, but it is possible because I work down at the Charles B. Willie downtown airport. I work as overnight security. So it's a private airport. So you have millionaires, you have state officials, you have
Mm.
oh man, you have millionaires, parishioners, the, the best of the best come down, as well as the main airport, the main airport we have, but ours is smaller, so you're going to get those aircrafts, and you have those private uh, planes with you know, we all know Patrick Mahomes. Uh, Taylor Swift.
You
Now I
just
work
had to throw the names out there. Okay.
well the thing about I work overnights. So it kind of varies and but I remember back in January, a coworker, he had I was just coming into work and he said, "Hey
Hmm.
Gilbert," you just missed it. I'm like, "Miss what?" He said, "Taylor Swift, her aircraft just left." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Oh, wow." But and what I noticed was, but I already knew it, that it wasn't that many people when she departed, and we all understand
Hmm.
privacy and security
Yeah.
nowadays. But yeah. So I work overnight, so it kind of varies. So I might it's a possibility, but uh, I mean, it would have to be like operations and everyone has to know, but everything is so uh, private nowadays, and we all understand that. So, and
Mhm.
but back to the podcast, yes, that's what we do, and I see it all the time. I see them getting off the aircrafts, Jeffrey. They're happy, they're smiling, and and I
Mhm.
and that lets me know it's possible. It's possible. They're no different from us. They just communicate on a different level.
Mhm.
So and I remember one morning, I believe it probably was 4, 5 in the morning, Jeffrey.
Mhm.
I remember this gentleman was getting off an aircraft and something just told me to ask him uh, to ask him about being successful. So but as soon I'm sorry, let me reiterate it. He was about to board his aircraft, and I
Mhm.
asked him. I said, how you doing? He said, I'm fine. How you doing? I said, I'm fine too. We both fine. And I asked him. I said, what's this? I said, I don't want to interrupt you, sir, but I just want to know the secret to your success. And he looked at me with a smart grin. I wish I can put a picture of him right here showing his smart grin, but it was a cool grin. And he said, make sure you treat your family with grace. And when he said that, it just enlightened. You know, treat your family with grace.
Okay.
Because we're family. I have I mean, we're on this podcast right now, Jeff,
Mhm.
and your show, for what I've seen. and watch, it's geared towards family. And when he mentioned that, it just reminded me going back to the foundation of growing up, living in a neighborhood. Everyone took care of one another. Grandmother cooked
Mm-hmm.
turkey noodles. Oh, she would make. She would make what's that, smothered pork chops, gravy, and rice and buttermilk.
Okay.
And I'm like, and she's like, Tyrone, are you still praying? Yeah, I'm praying because I don't want this food to leave me. But it's going back to the but it's going back to the foundation. And when he said that, it just let me know why this podcast is needed. It's that kind of communication. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. Well, and nothing against anyone else. Everyone's different in their style of communicate. But
Okay.
Jeffrey, but just those few words, it helped me, and I'm sure it helped him because he was about to depart to go to his
Mm-hmm.
destination.
So your podcast focuses on having that real communication with
Yes,
the audience and with the guests.
yes, 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 and that's what it's all about, the human side of it. We want to understand who they are from the human side of it.
Okay.
And just like I said earlier, it's fun to be me. Why? Because I can't be anybody else. I
That's
the only
you're
person
right.
the only person I could be is the only person I could be is Tyrone. It's something. I went to vote today.
Okay.
I went to vote, and this lady, uh, I mean, just the nicest uh lady you can ever meet. She walked up to me
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Are you here to vote?" I said, "Yes, I'm here to vote." And I don't know how we got into the subject of the podcast, but I did let her know about the podcast. And she said, "Okay, okay." She said, "What's your name?" I said, "Tyrone." She said, "Tyrone?" I said, "Yes, Tyrone." She said, "The Tyrone?" I said, I said, "Well, it's 1,000 other Tyrones out here in the
Mm-hmm.
world." She said, "No, no." I kid you not. She said, "No, no." She said, "No, but you're the real Tyrone. You're the real Tyrone." I said, "I guess I am." And those kind of conversations, I,
Mm-hmm.
it came out. I mean, I didn't expect that. I'm coming in, and yeah, we're going to vote. We have casual conversation
Mm-hmm.
with another person, but that conversation right there, it jarred me. But that's what true what authenticity communication is, when you disrupt people's thinking. She actually disrupted my thinking. And
Okay.
I'm the one with the podcast. But that's what we do
Yeah.
on Communicating is Confidence podcast. And that's what we like to do. We like to disrupt people's thinking to 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 also for them to start asking themselves, wait a minute, Jeffrey, I never thought of it like that.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I never
That's
thought of
needed.
it like that. I never thought of it like that.
Okay. So why did you get into IT?
Oh, that you're the first one to ask this question to me, and I'm glad you asked this question. Uh, my father, uh, had his own. He was a minister, uh, and he had his own church called New Vision Baptist Church, and he had it for, I would say, like 9, 10 years. Don't quote me on it because I
Okay.
was I was going through my change.
My
Uh,
dad was a pastor too.
Yeah, right. I remember you mentioned that. I remember you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that, and he was what you would call a street minister as well. He loved to be out there feeding the
Okay.
homeless. Yeah, feeding the homeless. I mean, spreading the word on Kansas City's roughest streets.
Okay.
If not the rough street, but I'm not going to get into that. But he would have a lot of ideas, and he would do a lot of events
Mm-hmm.
with the church involved. And the last thing that he wanted to do was to uh, have a computer center, an actual computer
Nice.
center in the church. And I mean, we had family gatherings, congregation gatherings. I mean, along with the family that would help, cook and
Mm-hmm.
I would say just set everything up for events. But he did mention about having a computer center, and that's the one thing that he wanted. But it never transpired because it just he got sicker and sicker, and
Mm-hmm.
as the church was not really doing all that well, so he kind of took it to heart, and that's one of the things that he wanted to put in place, a computer center, and it never transpired. So I told myself, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get into computers. I'm gonna learn IT. I'm gonna learn as much as I'm gonna learn programming as much as I can, and 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 God, I mean, by the grace of God, I was able to get my bachelor's in technology with a specialization in, in assurance, security, and assurance. And I also got a certificate in Java programming. So, and also one more thing, one more thing. I worked uh, for a 6-month contract at a drywall company as a help desk, IT help desk, and that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. Believe it or not, it was it was out in Lenexa, Kansas, and it was me and a private company, drywall company,
Mm-hmm.
me and 3 white gentlemen, and the gentleman on the left, me and him were in the room. His name was Rob. He was my mentor. So I mean, taught me the basics. I mean, responding back to people, doing inventory with laptops and stuff like that. Um, and we had the main guy, IT manager. Then we had the, the secondary. He was system administrator. So,
Okay.
and we would call ourselves the A team, and
Nice.
I was Mr. T. So,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So, yeah, but thank you. Yeah, but like I said, going back to my father, his vision,
So you took
and
a
that's why I wanted to, hey, what's that? Grab that baton, and keep going with it.
if you ever reopen the church, you can put those computers in there. You got the
Right.
money.
Well, it's been a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I'm steady getting back into it, little by little, by keeping up with what's going, and especially with the hacking, what's going on. Oh my God, it's
Uh,
that's something it's just really gotten out of hand. But it really is. But it's one of those things. I mean, they're going to go after what they want with these companies, and and they're not going to. I mean, they're not going to slack off uh,
mm-hmm.
no time soon. And but this, I mean, it's a wake up call. To me, it's a wake up call to everyone that's not wanting to learn about new technology, and to listen and
Yeah.
to listen to those who do, because those are the ones that can help your company
Mm-hmm.
swim through. Let me talk in aircraft terms, to fly through those go through those turbulent times, and
Mm-hmm.
and
You're
and
right.
and, and the truth be told, a lot of these companies, they're not, a lot of it, they're not really saying it, but I believe the majority of what's happening out here with these corporations, it's because of fear, and it's because of those that are trying to to gain access into whatever what's that assets they have. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've learned in cybersecurity. Uh, that it's like you have a tall building. What's
Mm-hmm.
that? You have a tall, like the Sears Towers or whatnot. The Sears Towers, and and they're looking for any crack in that window. And once they see that little crack, or even that window open, just a little crack, they're
They in
gonna
there.
they in there. And once they in there,
Trouble.
yeah, yeah. You I mean, just say your goodbyes right now.
So, how has being a mentor helped you?
Oh, wow. You ask beautiful questions.
I think they're very basic. But I appreciate
Beautiful questions.
it.
I love mentoring, and I believe anyone could be a mentor. I really believe that if your heart's in the right place and you want to help people, uh, help them where they are. Don't judge them. I
Mhm.
mean, I had a thing with that before I uh, started living in the Salvation Army. I would judge people so harshly,
Yeah.
Jeffrey. I didn't know why. I'm like, why is that? Why is the person like that? Why is? But it's. But we must always remember it's a root behind that, and a lot of times it's not their fault. It's just circumstances and
Mm-hmm.
conditions. But going back to the question you asked, mentor, I just wow. I It started in when I was in college.
Okay.
Um, and but I believe the best mentors are the best listeners too. They're the best listeners. And
Yeah.
right now, I just started. Uh, this is my third month volunteering at Lead to Read at Foreign Language Academy. And Lead to Read is where you read to school age children.
Okay.
Now these children, they're like, what's that, 6, 7, 8 years old? That's who I read to. What's I'm gonna just say what's spectacular about this volunteer that I'm doing. I mean, just to listen to them read. I have a girl right now. Her name is Aaliyah. She's what's that? I think she's like probably 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, and we're reading a book together. And it was I think part of it has Spanish words. And she said, oh, blah blah blah. And I said, oh, you know Spanish? She said, yes, I could, I could count to 100 in Spanish and more.
That's
And
impressive.
yes, and I'm looking at the book. I'm like, what did you just say? You, you say, she said, yeah, I could count to, I could count to 100 in Spanish. I could really count even more over 100. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, that's
And,
amazing.
and yeah, in this school, now I mean, you already know Spanish, but then it's a French and Chinese. So
Mm.
they also teach French and Chinese. And
Ah,
and I'm like, wow. And and she was reading to me. I'm like, wow. And she was happy. She was
that's
happy.
awesome.
She was happy, and that makes me feel good to know that, hey, I'm right there, and I'm doing my part. But the thing about it, she's the one that's doing it. I'm just there to to make sure everything flows. Make sure if she and another wonderful thing that I like about mentoring, she asks questions.
That's
She
good.
she would say, "Is that a grape? Or is is that an apple? And is that a a, a woman running up the hill?" Questions like that, and it's like, wow, that's what sparks the mind.
That's true.
That's what sparks the mind. And I would tell anybody, I tell people on my job, uh, I tell people, anyone I run into, I say, hey, volunteering is the best thing you can uh, do for people. Just volunteer your time, and it doesn't take what, a few hours a day, or what's that, 5 to 10 hours a week. I mean, let's say 10, 15 hours. uh, I mean, it doesn't, just give yourself and help, and because you're there for a reason.
That's true.
You're there for a reason. Don't underestimate. Right? Okay, they're just putting me here, and no, you're there for a reason, to 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 make someone else's life better, to give someone else, to help prepare someone else. Hey, their future. You know, you're preparing them. You're preparing them. But it's not just kids, it's adults too. We could be mentors to younger adults as well.
That's true. How long you been an entrepreneur?
Wow, you have some good questions. This is like back to back. Wow.
Appreciate it.
I would say, to be honest, since '96, I always had that entrepreneurial mind.
Okay.
I remember me and a couple of guys I'd stayed with. Um, they we all were attending City College. Well, one was attending Rockhurst. Rockhurst is like the big college here.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, but we, and believe it or not, we did events together. We did a
Nice.
couple of events. We did one on 18th and Vine. Wow, I'm thinking the year. It probably was. I'm thinking like 95, 96, but it's right down on 18th and Vine, the Jazz District of
Mm.
Kansas City. 18th and Vine. That's Charlie Parker and all of them. That's where they help, 18th and Vine. And we did a event one day. Because we was talking about, we wanted to all go to business
Mm-hmm.
for ourselves. And we actually and that's what, and I, I'm thinking, I can't think of it right now, but our game plan was that uh like have a bunch of lowriders come.
Nice.
Yeah, lowriders. And believe it or not, we actually talked, on the west side. Now the west side is like, mainly Latinos. It was uh uh like a body shop.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I believe it's called Loans and Sons. Yeah, body shop. And they supported us. I mean, we went because we had an idea. We want to just raise money just to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to, and that was part of it. Get low riders down on 18th and Vine, uh, take pictures with all the the fellas with their girlfriends,
Okay.
and and I was the one taking pictures, and we would sell them, what, like $5, $10 a pop. And we even, at the time, ooh, his name, DJ, oh wow, oh, I can't think of his name right now, but he was very prominent here in the Kansas City area, and we even had him to come down and just kind of, spark crowd with his music. And I mean, but what we learned, and I had a notion about it, Jeffrey,
Mm-hmm.
even months in advance, because we advertised. I guess word of mouth. Word of mouth is good, but we didn't market the
Yeah.
way we should have. And I thought, and even I'll say like 3-4 months
Mm-hmm.
before the event, something told me, hey, we need to go to a radio station. We need to, and I think we did do research on the radio station, and then at the time, I believe that's what KPRS. That's one of the main radio stations, R&B, radio stations here. They just celebrated the 75th anniversary, along with KPRT. They're the oldest black owned gospel radio in the nation here.
Wow.
Yeah. So at that time, we were researching, and something was telling me, Jeffrey, I'm like, we need to market this. I mean, yeah, we know a lot of people. They know a lot of people. We got a lot of people, but we just didn't get the city. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot, and like I said, Loans and Sons. I mean, I think I believe we had probably like, oh wow, 25, 30 lowriders at the time.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I mean, and just to see them with the way they have these vehicles is unreal. The antics, but the way,
Uh-huh.
but they loved it because I had my camera, and they were like they would walk by and they were like, hey, can you get a picture of me and my girlfriend? I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, it was like a domino effect. Yeah.
Nice.
It was a domino effect. So now at the end, we barely broke even, and it was a learning lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It was a learning lesson, and also it was a learning lesson in working with other people.
Yeah.
Um,
Low
and
riders
we
in
all
Kansas
and
City.
yes,
Nice.
and we all know and understand those character traits
Mm-hmm.
when you're working with other people. So yeah,
That's true.
understanding other people's character traits. But it was fun. It was fun. We didn't make the money. We
Good learning
we
experience though.
didn't. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Like I said, we all stayed together. We
Mm-hmm.
paid rent. We ate out every night, fast food. We but but we kept
You learned something.
ourselves. Yeah, we kept ourselves out of trouble. So
Yeah. And my cousin says this is fire. Appreciate you watching, cuz.
thank you, cousin. Thank you.
Um, Legal Shield. Why did you get into that?
I just started with Legal Shield, but I've been with Legal Shield since November of last year.
Okay.
So, but I'm still a newbie. Believe it or not, on one of our podcasts, we invited Letitia Randolph, and she's the area director of Legal Shield in Missouri and Kansas. So we had her on, and she's also a minister. And when we had her on the podcast, she blew it away. She blew
Nice.
it away. And that's another thing, excuse me, with the podcast, because me and my co-host Anthony Corbin, we're also part of Toastmasters International Public Speaking.
Okay.
Public speaking. So I was able to get her on the podcast, and I mean, the way she articulates is going back to communication,
Mm-hmm.
to communication, and that's what Toastmaster International teaches you. Don't say duh, you know. I and I'm still working on that. We call that auditing
Okay.
ourselves. You have to audit. You have to audit your speech, your conversations at times, and catch yourself. Like, why did I say? Why did I say duh?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be direct, precise,
Thank you.
so they
Direct,
know exactly what
price,
you're trying to say.
precise. Don't over talk.
Had a speech class in college, and they was really with those. Say exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Get
just
straight to the
say,
point.
just straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have to catch myself at times, Jeffrey,
Yeah.
because I know I write a lot. So I write a lot. I talk a lot, and sometimes I can over talk myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to really be mindful of that. But getting back to the legal shield, and when we got off the podcast, she told us about legal shield, and
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Good
oh
product.
yeah, I said, oh, that sounds interesting, and that's and being my co-host Anthony Corbin, that's what we've been doing for the last 3-4 years, wanting to have residual income,
Mm-hmm.
on the side. And like I said, it goes back to working down at the downtown airport, seeing millionaires. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing it,
You can
and
do it
they're
too.
doing it, and they yeah, and I could do it too. They're just doing it in less time and with less words.
Yeah.
With
Now,
less. I'm sorry.
no problem. I saw on your profile bca.com. What
Okay.
is that? I was curious about that.
Oh, oh, Black Cyber Association.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
cybersecurity with Professor Rogers, and oh man, him and Professor Foster, uh, learning about the cybersecurity realm
Okay.
aspects. Yes, fire. Oh wow, what's that? The firewalls. Oh wow, you making me get into it. I'm gonna have to, because it's been a while since I've been doing cyber. I've been with Legal Shield and the podcast, but but yeah. Let me. I'm gonna say firewall. I'm trying to think. The Try Hack Me, and Try Hack Me is they have courses where, like, different subjects,
Okay.
network infrastructure, just different subjects
Mm-hmm.
that you can learn about, and
Nice.
and and Try Hack Me. I love Try Hack Me, and I need to get back on Try Hack Me. Not now. You're gonna make me really go back, because, but yeah, just learning about the different aspects. I don't have my notes right now, so
Oh,
but
yeah, all
yeah,
right.
try
I was just
yeah,
curious what
but
that was.
yeah, oh yeah, but that's what Professor Rogers, and his class is still going right now. They do like an ISC2 certification
Okay.
where they prepare people, but he makes it fun. He makes it fun, and believe it or not, he told me, he said, Tyrone, you're one of the best students. I was like, oh wow, but my thing is, I just try to do what they say, whatever assignment they have, and I'm there
Mm-hmm.
the majority of the time, and I'm always asking the most questions. So I don't know, to
Good.
be honest, I don't know if I was one of his top students, but I know I could say this. I know this for a fact. I asked a lot of questions.
It was engaging, and
Yes, I
teachers
was.
noticed that.
Yes, yes,
So most
yes.
people in class just on their phone writing something, but you ask, okay, so what's this? What's that?
Right,
Okay,
right.
I can really feel like they're really teaching somebody.
Right, and then they have a Discord. They
Mm-hmm.
have the Discord along with it. So, and I love how they break everything with the programming, C sharp,
Okay.
Java, yeah, Python, and but what I love about their Discord page, and he tells all of his students, hey, always go to the Discord. We have all the information, the latest news, and they and that's another thing I like about what Professor Rogers and Professor Foster's doing. They helping those prepare when they step out
Okay.
into the world, because he wants to make sure, or they want to make sure that we're being represented in the boardroom, because a lot of us
Okay.
are not being represented enough in the boardroom.
True.
And a lot and it's it's tantalizing. Let me say tantalizing. It's tantalizing when he says, "Hey, I'm explaining to these big wigs what they need to do," and they're saying, "Oh, you could do that," and he's like, "You didn't know that." you, you have
Mm-hmm.
all set up, and no one told you.
Mm.
So, but that's yeah, BCA Blacks and Cyber Association, and I mean that, and that's his goal to get over 1,000 students. So, uh,
Okay. Well, we reached the part of the show to where you can promote, mark what you got going on. Floor is yours.
oh, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
Yes, communicating is confidence. Uh, we're still in the works, uh, and we have a thing right now. We're going live in 2025, so we're banking on it to be later on this year because of all of our schedules. But hey, you never know because the man upstairs he always has another plan. And I
Hmm.
also plan to do an event in 6 months called Stop Crying and Let's Start Buying from One Another. Stop crying, let's start buying from one another. So I already have 3 vendors that are interested, and it's real emotional because someone that we know passed away,
Hmm.
and they were an avid video gamer. So I did an event uh, called The Spirit of Confidence 3 years ago. And it got 898 likes. We had a fashion show, we had speakers,
Hmm.
and I sung a song. I, I'm confident, not confident. I'm coffee about the spirit of confidence. Well, I drank some. Well, I'm not gonna. I drank some coffee at one of the I'm not going to
Hmm.
go into it, but it didn't sit well with my stomach, and I'm like, oh wow, and that's where I got the idea from. Well, yeah, it's we're doing the spirit of confidence, but let me write a song called "I'm Confident." I'm confident. I'm confident about the spirit of confidence, and it got 898 likes. So, and yeah, like I
Okay.
said, motivational. So we're gonna have that again. Like I said, stop crying, let's start buying from one another. Things are going to happen in our lives. We're going to lose people, and it's going to hurt.
Hmm.
I cried when my mother and father passed. We cried. We all cried. And we all cried when our loved ones and friends of the family, they suddenly leave us. But let's not carry that because there is a future. They live their life. My father, before I
Hmm.
let you go, before I let you go, he was one of those types. He was probably just like your father. He's real relaxed and laid back, and his motto was his philosophy was, "Hey, just because I'm not around anymore, don't let me stop you from living. You live your life.
Yeah.
This is the one life you live. Don't let me stop you. Hey, I did what I was brought here to do. I was here to brought here, and I remember he would tell us that, and that's why going back to the
Hmm.
computer center, and now with this event, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Stop crying. Let's start buying. So we're gonna have vendors, and whatever the vendors are gonna have, they're gonna make sure it's gonna bring you joy and happy. And a fashion show for the gamers. So but
Okay.
that's in the works. That's like 6 months down the road. So but yeah, and also with the legal shield, uh yeah, I will be going to Baltimore this month for the international
Okay.
okay. All
Okay.
right.
We have 3 questions left.
Okay. I
What
think
has was that?
uh let me see. I believe my co-host is calling for the let me see. Oh, the other podcast.
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah.
pod. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But we
well, I can just go to the last question then.
okay.
Um, Last question: what advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Oh boy, yeah, that's a good question. Uh, get around those who are doing it. Get around those who are doing it and are saying positive things, not negative things. Because we've all we I mean we see a ton of negative messages all the time, but surround yourself with those that are doing it and that you can relate to, that you can relate to. And another thing, we talk about personality traits. Yeah, we get along, but also get along with those who you may not normally have a conversation with,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the ones that can they can help you more. And that's what I had to learn. That's what I had to learn. I mean, I had a meeting this morning with a lady. We had the same personality. Orange. We have orange. The color orange. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Okay. Oh,
But,
that's
but
great.
thank you,
Did you
thank you,
enjoy being on the show?
thank you. It's been an honor.
I
It's been a good.
appreciate you.
I love the Detroit song. I love the Detroit song.
Yeah, that. Hey, go check out the album JLE
I
Experience.
will. I will.
And I got
I
a
will.
second one, JLE World. You look up
Oh,
Jeff L. Edwards, you'll see both of them.
oh
Great,
wow. Oh
all
wow.
positive, great music.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I know you gotta get out here, get ready for the show that I'll be a guest on. So
Yeah.
you can
We
jump
need
off
you.
if you like. And I'm
Okay.
gonna wrap up here. I
Okay.
want to
Thank you.
thank the Communicating is Confidence podcast host, Tyrone Gilbert, for sharing this journey. Whoever's out here, hope it helps you figure out what you need to do. And I'm gonna sing my thing to wrap it out, and he's gonna leave us. And I'm gonna be on his show talking about Mustang.
Yes,
This
sir.
is what we're doing today. So here we go. That 313 Detroit raised me. Detroit sent me. Can't nothing stop me. 313 Detroit love the Motor City. Detroit love. Can't nothing
Hey, how you
stop me.
doing?
Detroit
I'm
love.
trying to.
I love my city. Detroit love. All right. Till next time, everybody.